It's Monday, October 17th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news today, including the tragic death of a Yukon student, an update on the cause of that deadly Milford car fire, and much more. Frank Granito will join us with a Nutmeg Sports update and a look at the forecast. And later on, Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. But first, in an update on a story we've been following, the Milford Fire Marshal's Office has determined that the October 7th fatal car fire, in which 72-year-old Richard Ware died, was accidental. According to officials, the driver drove the vehicle off of the road and onto the boardwalk. After driving on the boardwalk for about 100 feet, the passenger side tires traveled off of the side of the boardwalk and became lodged in the sand. The driver then attempted to continue moving forward but was unsuccessful. Officials said the components of the exhaust system came into contact with the wood planking on that boardwalk, causing them to burn. Significant temperatures and duration of contact then caused the planking of the boardwalk to ignite. That fire extended to the vehicle, causing it to become fully engulfed with the driver still inside. This fire has been determined to be accidental, officials said. People who knew Richard Ware, a longtime Milford resident, said he had recently been released from jail, where he had been serving time for embezzling from several local charities, including the Milford Rotary Club, where he was treasurer, as well as funds from two other nonprofits, the Milford Special Olympics and the Milford Club. There's more on that story at milfordmirror.com. And according to the Ridgefield Press, firefighters there battled a blaze Sunday night on Limekiln Road. The house fire that shut down part of Limekiln Road Sunday night started in a first floor closet, according to Fire Chief Kevin Tappy. There is fire and heat damage to the first floor of the home, as well as some smoke damage to the second floor. The chief told the press Monday morning that a senior woman lives alone at the home and she smelled the smoke in the house. She found the fire and evacuated the home, calling 911. That fire required some help from Georgetown and Wilton fire departments. And a 19-year-old student at the University of Connecticut was run over and killed early Sunday by a vehicle for the campus fire department, according to state police. Jeffney Pally of West Hartford was sitting against the bay door of the campus public safety complex and stores shortly after 1 p.m. when the fire department got an emergency call, according to police. The report said that Pally of West Hartford was sitting on the ground with her back against the door when it opened, causing her to fall back onto the ground. The right side of the emergency vehicle that was driving out, a Chevy Tahoe, ran over her, killing her. Yukon President Susan Herbst said in a written statement that every student is precious to us, and this is a heartbreaking and tragic loss. Herbst said our deepest sympathies go out to her family, friends, and all those whose lives she touched. The university referred all questions to state police, which took over the investigation at the request of campus police. State police said the driver of the Chevy Tahoe was put on administrative duty. Calls to state police for additional information, according to the Associated Press, have gone unanswered. And a lawsuit brought by the families of victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting massacre was thrown out on Friday. Superior Court Judge Barbara Bellis ruled on Friday, granting a motion filed by Remington Arms Company to strike the lawsuit. Remington Arms, Bushmaster Firearms, and Camphor Holding and Riverview Gun Sales of East Windsor were the defendants in that case. In her 54-page ruling, Bellis said that the allegations do not fit within the common law tort of negligent entrustment under well-established Connecticut law, nor do they come within the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act definition of negligent entrustment. There's much more on that lawsuit at StratfordStar.com. And Milford police are looking for help identifying a man sought in the burglary of a Milford restaurant and who may have possibly committed similar crimes at two other Milford eateries. On October 14th at about 6:50 in the morning, a burglary occurred at Mackinac Restaurant at 902 Boston Post Road. The suspect forced open the rear door of the restaurant with a crowbar, then attempted to break open the office safe but was unsuccessful. The man ended up stealing two register drawers. The suspect was was a white or Hispanic male wearing dark-colored sweatpants, a dark hooded sweatshirt, a red and black baseball-style hat, as well as dark-colored sneakers and a pair of gloves. The suspect drove a gray or light-colored vehicle, possibly a Buick Regal. The suspect is a person of interest in 2 burglaries that occurred one day earlier at Dairy Queen and Emerald Bakery. Both are located at New Haven Avenue in Milford and occurred at the same manner as this one, police said. They said if anyone has information and to help them identify this suspect, they can call the Milford Police Department at 203-878-6551. And the Connecticut Post reports a pair of early Sunday morning shootings that left 3 people injured remain under investigation. The first shooting occurred at 1:50 in the morning on Sunday at a Barnum Avenue address. A man was shot several times in the right arm, causing substantial injury and blood loss, authorities said. He was transported by a private vehicle to Bridgeport Hospital for treatment and underwent surgery Sunday morning. Av Harris, a spokesman for the city's police department, said that victim was expected to survive. Witnesses said the suspect, unknown to them, shot at the victim several times and then casually walked away. The suspect, who was wearing a leather jacket, may have left the area in a white-colored Honda. And a second shooting that occurred at 2:17 in the morning in the area of Capitol Avenue and Hudson Street. Harris said an officer reported shots in the area and observed a Nissan Pathfinder fleeing the scene. The officer attempted to stop the Pathfinder, but the operator of the vehicle refused to pull over and bailed out of the moving vehicle on Main Street near Salem Street. The vehicle continued to roll unoccupied for several hundred feet and came to a rest along the curb. That driver eluded capture, but 2 gunshot victims, a man and a woman, were located in front of a Hudson Street address. The male victim suffered a serious gunshot wound to his left leg and a graze wound to his right leg. Harris said he underwent surgery and is expected to survive. A female victim is also expected to recover. But let's switch gears now and throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank, it's feeling a little bit like summer again?
A little summer feel to it. That's right, Kate. Some early morning cloud cover should clear out for mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Very warm the next couple of days, starting with a high of 76 today and breezy with wind gusts of 15 to 20 miles per hour later on today. Mostly clear overnight with temperatures in the low 60s, and there is a chance of a passing shower later on before Tuesday morning. Plenty of sunshine all day on Tuesday and very warm. Temperatures in the low 80s with a much lighter breeze compared to Monday. Clear skies overnight on Tuesday, but still warm with an expected low of 65. And Wednesday we'll see mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the upper 70s. A light breeze in the afternoon around 10 miles per hour before some evening clouds move in for what will be a mild Wednesday night. An expected low of 60 degrees and some passing showers that'll move through the county between midnight and dawn. That's going to do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, Donald Eng takes a look back on this day in history. We have a Nutmeg Sports Update with Frank and some more local news coming up after this. Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Hi, this is Leo Carl from Carl Chevrolet in New Canaan. And you've heard me talk about the Chevy Volt for years. The new model gets 53 miles on EV charge daily, plus 420-mile full range. But don't take my word for it. You need to come in and test drive the Volt yourself. Visit us at 261 Elm Street in New Canaan or online at carldirect.com.
As you're getting back to your regular schedules, we're excited to get back to doing what we do best, offering you the freshest seasonal fare and all the ingredients for a healthy start to school. So shop Walter Stewart's for everything fresh, from A, apples to Z, zucchini, and from cotton candy grapes to back to nature all-natural snack bags. We save you time by stocking all of your favorite back-to-school essentials under one roof. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
At In Sports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, In Sports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. In Sports College Baseball Coaches Camp takes place at In Sports on October 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This unique limited space event features many of the area's top college baseball coaches who will work with high school players in a hands-on clinic setting as well as evaluate their infield skills. For more information, contact Mike Buswell at In Sports, 203-268-1214.
Like and follow us on Facebook.
Washington Prime, now open on Main Street in Georgetown. Come enjoy our relaxed setting, excellent service, award-winning nightly happy hours, and feast on our creative new American cuisine. Connecticut Magazine's winner for Best Steak, Washington Prime of Georgetown.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network. And we've also reached 1.7 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We're back on this October 17th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network, and it's time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, we were talking off the air, and it's clear that some of you have been doing your homework, but admittedly, this was an easy one. 1777, British General John Burgoyne surrenders his army at Saratoga, New York. The ramifications were immediate and wide-ranging. In France, King Louis XVI decided to begin aiding the colonists because for the first time, he believed they had a chance to win the war. The financial cost of this aid would be a disaster for France and for Louis himself. Also, an ambitious General Benedict Arnold, severely wounded in the fighting, and he began looking for ways to settle the score after feeling cheated out of the glory for the victory. To 1814, London, England, 8 people drown after casks containing 400,000 gallons of Mew and Company porter rupture. The brewery was eventually taken to court for the accident, but the disaster was ruled an act of God by the judge, and therefore no one was financially responsible. The company would stay in business for another century. 1931, gangster Al Capone sentenced to 11 years in prison for tax evasion. He had been the FBI's most wanted man for years, but through bribery and intimidation had managed to avoid conviction. Capone was assigned to a federal prison in Atlanta, but he successfully bribed the staff into receiving cushy accommodations from which he continued to run his crime empire. He was eventually relocated to Alcatraz, from which he was released in 1939 for good behavior. He would die at his Palm Island, Florida estate in 1948 at the age of 48, actually 1947 at the age of 48. And finally, now we go to 1973, the ultimate weapon unleashed on the world without firing a shot.
This is NBC Nightly News, Wednesday, October 17th. Reported by John Chancellor.
Good evening. The Middle East war produced developments all over the world today. The oil-producing countries of the Arab world decided to use their oil as a political weapon. They will reduce oil production by 5% a month until the Israelis withdraw from occupied territories. If the Arab countries keep that pledge, it would reduce their production by almost 50% in 1 year. There were diplomatic maneuvers at the United Nations, in Washington, and in Cairo. And there is a savage and possibly decisive tank battle raging in the Sinai Desert. The decision to cut back on oil production as a weapon against Israel was taken at a meeting in Kuwait, which was attended by the Syrians and the Egyptians as well. Less Arab oil won't hurt the United States.
On this date in 1973, OPEC imposes an oil embargo against the Western world, considering that they had helped Israel in its war against Egypt and Syria. The embargo didn't reduce U.S. oil supplies very much, but it didn't need to. By the time the embargo ended in March of '74, gas prices had quadrupled, widespread price controls and rationing measures were in place, and on any given day, 1 out of every 5 gas stations was closed because they simply had no gas to sell. That's your look back in history for today, October 17th, and I'm Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. In other news, New Canaan police say a local woman stole over $8,000 from the New Canaan movie theater where she worked. 40-year-old Janet Amazquita of East Hills Drive recently turned herself into police on a warrant. Back on August 17th, police responded to a complaint of larceny at Bowtie Cinema's New Canaan Playhouse at 89 Elm Street. According to police, corporate security reported that $8,359 was taken gradually from the company over time. After an investigation, police issued an arrest warrant for Janet Amezquita of East Hills Drive, who was an employee at the cinema. She was given a court date of October 25th. But let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now. I know a lot to talk about today, Frank, in our Nutmeg Sports Update.
Do have a lot going on. Let's start Saturday afternoon, where the HAN Network was live at St. Joseph High School for FCIAC football between the Wilton Warriors and St. Joseph Cadets. Both teams came into the game with a record of 3-1 and were looking to position themselves in the top of the Class L and M state rankings. As we head to the second half of the season, it was all Cadets early on as they jumped out to a 24-0 lead on their way to a 31-15 victory. Corey Babineau accounted for 3 touchdowns for St. Joe's, including 2 to Philip Passmeg, and senior Jared Malazzi set a single-game school record with 12 catches. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from Saturday.
Ace formation. Babineau looking left, comes back to the right, strike over the middle. He's got Passmeg. Touchdown, Cadets.
Beautiful pass.
Malazzi in motion. They fake the shirt and fake the end around. 2 receivers wide open. And that's like stealing. Passmeg with his second touchdown of the afternoon. What a well set up play that was, Kevin.
Man, Babineau just makes it look so easy.
Babineau and that wildcat position. He's got several linemen up ahead of him. The snap was too high. He's able to stay with it and splits through the heart of the defense. Touchdown, Cadets.
And on a high snap where you thought maybe he was going to lose the ball, excellent job by...
Back here on the HAN Network, 4th and 5 for the Warriors. Low snap, Calabresi's got to throw to the right side, making the catch and fighting forward, close to the goal line because he got a cross. Touchdown, Warriors. Fumble the snap, able to recover. Now he's flushed out. Osborne applying pressure, throwing it up. Herman going to make the catch. He got it.
The 2-point attempt is good for what a catch.
St. Joe's now moves to 4-1 on the season, and Wilton falls to 3-2. Donald Nang and I will have a full breakdown of that game, as well as the other 8 FCIAC games from this past weekend on Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Before Saturday's game on FCIAC Tailgate, we announced our Week 4 winners of the HAN Network's Athlete of the Week, presented by Runner's Roost. Our female Athlete of the Week was Bridget Malloy of Staples Field Hockey, who received 648 votes, edging out Katie Linekin of the Ridgefield Volleyball team, who was the runner-up, tallying 490 votes. The Week 4 Male Athlete of the Week winner was Adrian Chung Wilkes of the West Hill Boys Soccer team. He just was able to pick up enough votes over Ziggy Hallgarten of the Staples Boys team by only 38 votes was the difference in that voting. Congrats to both Bridget and Adrian on being named the HAN Network's Athlete of the Week by Runner's Roost. For the Week 5 nominees, make sure you tune into Nutmeg Sports today. And finally, we had one of the plays of the fall season take place at Darien during Saturday's football game between Brian McMahon and the Darien Blue Wave. Let's take a look at the highlight, courtesy of McMahon sophomore Michael McCary.
Come on, Jim! Come on, Jim! Come on, Jim! Oh, yeah!
Why do you think early?
Number 63 with the touchdown, James Taylor.
There you go, Again, thank you to Michael McCary. That was senior Jamie Taylor scoring on the 60-yard run. Taylor, who has Down syndrome, has been a member of the McMahon football team for 4 years and was given the opportunity late in the fourth quarter to run the ball for the Senators and capitalized, finding the end zone. You could see Coach A.J. Albano tipping his cap to the Darien sideline during Jamie's run down the field. Kate, truly one of the best plays that we will see all year long.
That was so cool. And in other cool news, I know our friend Ben McFadden, a HAN correspondent,
Yes.
you can say, was with Greenwich football for their big win on Saturday.
We're going to need to keep communication open because Ben has apparently become the liaison to the Greenwich football team for us.
They're calling him their lucky charm that day.
I heard earlier today from Coach Johnny Marinelli, one of the captains was wondering if it was possible to have Ben travel to New Canaan this week with them.
So. We'll be talking to him again.
It is very cool to see how the team has adopted him since we
Right.
got to meet with Ben and their captains back in September.
Right. Make-A-Wish Connecticut hooked us up with Ben. He's super outgoing, such a blast. He's a future Wish kid, and he just kind of wanted to hang out on the field, interview the captains. He has some tough questions, so I feel like maybe they're just buttering him up so he goes easy on them next time. I don't know.
It was a lot of fun,
just
but it's
very
cool, yes.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Frank. Getting back to news today. A woman who Westport police said bilked a man on their first date faces theft charges. 27-year-old Catherine Stonick of West Elm Street in New Haven was arrested Friday on charges of illegal use of a credit card and 6th-degree larceny. According to police, Stonick, who told her date that her name was Sophie, went out to dinner with the man at Filamente Trattoria on Post Road East back on August 17th. The man used a credit card to pay the bill. Stonick then excused herself from the table to use the restroom and asked the manager to add a $300 gift card on the man's credit card. They left the restaurant and Stonick returned twice over the next 2 days, police said, to use the gift card. When the man realized what had happened, he went to police and provided Sophie's license plate number. Investigators learned the woman's real name and set up a photo lineup. The man was able to identify Stonick as the woman that he had gone on a date with. And the Monroe police arrested 26-year-old Samantha Adler of Shelton for larceny and forgery on October 12th. Police said they received a fraud complaint stating that someone had cashed 2 checks with the victim's forged signature. Police said Adler worked as a home health aide in the victim's home and that she forged checks for more than $800. She was released on a $1,000 bond for a future court appearance. And the Weston Police Department and the Drug Enforcement Administration will hold a drug take-back program on Saturday, October 22nd from 10 to 2. This is the 12th opportunity in 6 years for the public to return unwanted drugs. The service is designed to prevent pill abuse and theft by ridding homes of potentially dangerous, expired, unused, and unwanted prescription medications. You can bring pills for disposal to the Weston Police Department. However, the DEA cannot accept liquids or needles or sharps. This service is free and anonymous with no questions asked. You can get more details at thewestonforum.com. And in Ridgefield, Branchville, the town's forgotten child, as First Selectman Rudy Marconi calls it, could become a hub of development, economic growth, perhaps even affordable housing if sewers are added to an area with a train station and Route 7. According to Marconi, the biggest issues is what to do about the sewers. This in-progress Branchville transit-oriented development study describes different possible futures for a targeted focus area: 40 acres in Ridgefield, 10 acres in Wilton, and 4 in Reading. A draft report on the study projects that development potential over the 5-year period could include about 1,000 to 2,000 square feet of office space, 2,500 to 7,500 square feet of retail space, and about 20 to 50 housing units. But with sewer lines and access to a treatment plant, the study projects that Branchville could someday accommodate 449 townhouse and apartments, as well as 68,000 square feet of commercial space and 1,256 parking spaces. But there is much more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap the top stories we're following in the area today after this.
Connecticut is coming back to hometown banking, to a partner that makes small businesses feel big, where community comes first, where high-tech tools go hand in hand with a human touch, where you get the know-how only neighbors can deliver, where saving time is important too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well, bank smart, bank local, bank well.
1, 2, 3, Abby! You know! I want to find out how good I am. Yes, sir! If you relax, you get blown out. Let's get it done! Let's get it done!
What can you take advantage of right now?
Again, come on! I can push myself way beyond what you think. Pressure technique. Bring it back.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now during the Jeep Celebration event and Ram Power Days. Ends October 31st.
Visit 5 significant houses designed by Philip Johnson in New Canaan, Connecticut on an exclusive one-day study tour on October 22nd. The tour will visit the Hodgson House, the Alice Ball House, Wiley Speculative House, and Boisanis House, culminating with an evening tour of the Glass House property and festive reception. Tickets include tours of each house, shuttle transportation, and refreshments throughout. Visit theglasshouse.org and click on What's On to get your tickets and more information.
When it comes to local entertainment, we've got it all.
From movies, local artists, etiquette, and more.
Watch HAN Arts and Leisure with me, Steve Coulter, and our Arts and Leisure editor, Sally Sanders, Mondays at 12:30, right here on the HAN Network.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter, and I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
And we're back on this Monday edition of Your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the stories that we're following today, including an update on a story out of Milford. The Milford Fire Marshal's office has determined that the October 7th fatal car fire in which resident Richard Ware died was accidental. The driver drove the vehicle off of the road and onto the boardwalk, according to officials. And after driving on that boardwalk for about 100 feet, the passenger side tires traveled off the side of the boardwalk and became lodged in the sand. The driver attempted to continue moving forward but was unsuccessful. Officials said that components of the exhaust system came in contact with the wood planking on the boardwalk, causing them to burn. Significant temperatures and duration of contact then caused the planking of the boardwalk to ignite. The fire extended to the vehicle, causing it to become fully engulfed with the driver still inside. People who knew Richard Ware, 72 years old, who was a longtime Milford resident, said he had recently been released from prison where he had been serving time for embezzling from several local charities, including the Milford Rotary Club. But you can get much more on that story at milfordmirror.com. And Ridgefield firefighters battled a blaze Sunday night on Limekiln Road. The house fire that shut down a part of Limekiln Road Sunday night started in a first-floor closet, according to Fire Chief Kevin Tappy. There is fire and heat damage to the first floor of the home, as well as smoke damage to its second floor, Chief Tappy said. The chief told the press Monday morning that a senior woman lives alone at the home and that she smelled smoke in the house. She found the fire, evacuated, and then called 911. That fire required help from Georgetown and Wilton fire departments. And according to the Associated Press, a 19-year-old student at the University of Connecticut was run over and killed early Sunday by a vehicle for the campus fire department. Jeffney Polly of West Hartford was sitting against the bay door of the campus public safety complex in Storrs shortly after 1 in the afternoon when the fire department got an emergency call. The report says that Polly was sitting on the ground with her back against the door when it opened, causing her to fall back onto the ground. The right side of the emergency vehicle driving out, a Chevy Tahoe, ran over her, killing her. UConn President Susan Herbst said in a written statement that every student is precious to us, and this is a heartbreaking and tragic loss. She said our deepest sympathies go out to the family, friends, and all those who she touched. The university also referred all questions to state police, which took over the investigation at the request of the campus police. State police said the driver of the Chevy Tahoe was put on administrative duty. But we're going to switch gears now and throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank.
Thanks again, Kate. Mostly sunny today with a high of 76, low 60s overnight, and a chance of a shower before Tuesday morning. Sunny and warm on Tuesday with a high of 81 and clear skies overnight with a low of 65. Mostly sunny Wednesday and temperatures in the upper 70s, a low of 60 degrees on Wednesday night, and some passing showers throughout the county between midnight and dawn. Let's go back over to Kate one more time.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. Check out HAN Arts and Leisure at 12:30, Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock, Frank, and we'll see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11.